Hello, it's a beautiful day here in northern Arizona, and my video topic this week is a seller leaseback. What is a seller leaseback? Why are sellers asking for it so much? And what should you do if you're looking at a property where the seller is asking for a seller leaseback? So before I begin, I just want to let you know I live here in beautiful Sedona, Arizona, and I sell real estate in northern Arizona. If you have any kind of a real estate question, or if you'd like to schedule a conference, perhaps that we would work together, my information, my contact information is in the description below, and my YouTube viewers are actually my best clients, so don't be shy if you want to talk to me. Just give me a call. So back to the seller leaseback. What's happened is people are asking for them more often because it is a hot real estate market. So what happens in a hot real estate market like we have today in Arizona is a lot of big brokerages, iBuyers will come in and set up in a place like Phoenix. And so we have some brand new brokerages that are now in Phoenix, and they have a ton of money to spend on advertising, and they're putting advertisements on local TV stations and local radio stations that you can barely watch a show without seeing their commercial every single commercial break. And so they have a lot of reach. And what's happening is you have some of these local brokers that have cropped up, and they're advertising two things that are, well, the first is more disturbing than others. One thing is they're saying that I can get you more for your home than anybody else. Well, in a seller's market, that is not necessarily true, okay? In a buyer's market or a stable market, you're going to want to evaluate the marketing plans that each company or agent provides you. But in a hot seller's market, any competent local agent is going to be able to get you a very good price, because they're going to put it on the MLS, and then it's going to hit the internet, and that's where a lot of buyers come from. So don't get fooled by thinking one of these big Wall Street type brokerages, maybe not backed by Wall Street, but huge money behind them brokerages are going to get them more for your home, because that's not necessarily true. And if you're looking to list your home up here, what might be more important for you to think about is your listing agent a local agent that can help any buyers come in, answer their questions? Are they going to be able to disclose what's happening with the dark skies? How does that affect me? What's the water bill? What are local things happening? That might be more important, because all of us are going to be able to get you a good price on your home. So first thing, these big brokers are coming in saying I can get you more than your local agent. Not necessarily true. And the other thing they're saying is, oh, you can stay in your house for 6 months. Some of them I've heard ads that say you can stay in your house 6 months for free. Wow. Okay, so now sellers are hearing that, and they're like, hey, that's a great idea. I want to lease my house back for 3 months, 6 months, a year. Which would mean that you would buy the home, close in 30 days or so, but the seller's not going to move out for 6 months, say, and they're going to act like now you're the landlord and they're a tenant, and they're going to pay you rent, hopefully pay you rent for 3 months, 6 months, and that's what a seller leaseback is. So a year ago, this didn't happen very much, but like I said, we've got these advertisements now saying, stay in your house for 6 months, and now sellers are asking for it more than ever before. Now, there's no set answer for should you do it, should you not do it, because it's very situational. It's going to depend on several things. Some are within your control and some are not. But today's video, I want to walk you through the 4 things that you want to think about, talk about with your buyer's broker, for instance, before you decide to make a deal to purchase a home where the seller is asking to lease it back from you after you take possession. Okay, so the very first thing that you want to talk about, you want to think about in introspect, say, is how risk averse are you? So of course, risk averse means you're not a fan of risk, you're a little bit scared of risk, and then some people are more risk friendly, risk doesn't bother them, they don't mind jumping out of a parachute, say. Those people are not risk averse, and other people are. And if you are a risk averse person, I might say avoid doing a seller leaseback, because what's going to happen is the whole time you're going to be nervous that something's going to go wrong. You've got now a tenant in there. You're going to worry, are they going to pay me? Are they going to move out? Or what can I do if they don't pay me? Can I evict them? What about this eviction moratorium? Is it going to stay? It's going to go. So how risk averse are you? Because if you are very risk averse, it's just going to be distressing the whole time. You're going to go on Google and you're going to read about the story of the buyers that found their dream home but couldn't get the seller out of there for a year, and you're going to be in a constant state of high anxiety, and it's just not worth doing that to your health. So if you're very risk averse, I would pass on the seller leaseback. So number two, another thing is important, is think about the market forecast. What's going to happen in 6 months in the local area? Now, of course, this is the hardest of all because nobody knows what's going to happen in 6 months. And I watch forecasts all the time, and they're always changing because you have factors that are playing in that are unforeseen. For instance, a year ago, they were predicting the market is going to crash. Oh my gosh, till now it's going to crash. And what happened was they're thinking it's going to crash because of this eviction thing is going to happen. But what happened, the government put this thing, eviction moratorium, in place, and they keep extending it. Like, we're thinking it's done, and then it'll expire, but then the president will come and say, no, I'm writing an executive order to put it in place, and then the courts will come and say, well, you can't do that, I'm overruling it. And so as of this time, I can't even tell you, because it's going to change tomorrow, what the status is. Can you evict a tenant as a landlord if your renter is not paying? So these types of things affect the market. And now, if you close on a house today or tomorrow, but you can't move in 6 months. Okay, so if the market continues to be hot, and 6 months from now you're going to have to pay 20-30% more for that same exact property, well, now you're going to be more likely to do the seller leaseback deal because, you know, the market is growing, and, you know, let's put your price in now. Now, if the market softens, and even if it just stabilizes and prices don't go up anymore, but in 6 months now, instead of 3 houses to choose from in your area, you've got 15, well, definitely would pass on the lease back, because you can't move in for 6 months anyhow, and in 6 months there's going to be more for you to choose from. Hey, pass on the seller lease back. Of course, right now, nobody knows, so you're going to have to do your own research, and you're going to have to go with your own gut feeling, and of course consult your buyer's agent, because we're not going to tell you what's going to happen, but we might give you a little bit of insight of what our gut says that you just need to take as supporting evidence and not make your entire decision based on that. So those are the two things: risk aversion, your own, and what is the market going to do in 6 months. Now, the third thing is your seller integrity. Now, say you have a property, you like it, you're going to make an offer. You don't even have to put the lease back stuff in the offer. You submit the offer, and then the seller's agent is going to come back now and say, we like your offer, let's play ball. And at that point, you could decide, should I do this? I don't mind doing a lease back, but before you sign anything, any contract, now you should go ahead and do a little research on your seller. You're going to go ahead and get the seller names, and what's the most productive thing for you to do is go to one of these services. I actually subscribe to both of these. There's binverified.com, there's instantcheckmate.com, and there are other services that are like that. And then you put in the seller, and they will find it and give you a report. And there's two things that you're looking for in one of these services. One is the seller, have they declared bankruptcy? You'll get that type of report. And if you see, the seller's declared bankruptcy every 7 years for the past 30 years, yeah, that would be a red flag. I might not want to do a lease back with this seller. And the other thing is, you can see if there's a criminal record. So now if you see this guy's been convicted of arson 20 years ago, again, red flag. Most of the agents subscribe to these, because if we're showing a property to someone they don't know, we want to make sure you don't have a criminal record before we meet you out there. So your buyer's agent can run a background check and send you a report, say, yeah, they're clean, oh no, they're not. That's something I would do before I agreed to it. Now, let's say now you're like, oh, good, reputable sellers, and I really like this property. They're saying my offer is good. and we're going to make a deal. So now you're in escrow and you're talking with your insurance broker, your insurance agent, and they're going to ask you, okay, what's the deal? Are you going to live in the house? And you say, yes, I'm going to live in the house. And then they set up the policy. But when this is going on, make sure you tell them everything up front. Okay, so yes, Mr. Insurance Agent, I am going to live in it, but I have a renter in there for 6 months. So set my policy up to accommodate a renter in there for 6 months, and don't change it to owner occupied until I call you and tell you the renter is out and I'm ready to move in. And the reason this is very, very important is because you create the policy, say, as owner occupied, because that's what your plan is. But while a renter is in there, you know, the lightning hits that big tree and it comes down and crashes the roof, caves it in, or the house burns down. Now your insurance agent is out there ready to do the claim, and they're like, hey, wait a minute, you told me you were living in here and you got a renter in here. The policy is void, and then they don't pay, and now you're stuck, your house is burned down, or there's a big trench in your roof because you didn't set up your homeowner's insurance policy first, so in the correct way. So those 4 things, okay? 4 things: seller leaseback. Do I want to do it? Do I not want to do it? You should talk about this with your buyer's agent, and they can just give you their opinion. Of course, you want to do your own research, and you're going to want to think about, you know, how averse to risk am I? What do I think the market's going to do in 6 months, 3 months? What is the background of the seller? Are they trustworthy? And of course, the last thing is when you go through with the leaseback, make sure you tell your homeowner's insurance agent that this is what you're going to do. So that's it. Of course, there's probably many other things to ponder with a purchase, but those are the 4 things to think about when seller leaseback comes up. My name's Dawn Dickenson. I do sell real estate here in northern Arizona, which would be mostly Sedona and Verde Valley, sometimes Prescott and Flagstaff. So if you want to work with me, just call me, text me, send me an email. My contact information below will let you know how to get in touch with me. And again, my best clients come from YouTube, so would love to talk to you. Another thing is my YouTube channel, Living in Northern Arizona. It's an informational channel, but I will also post topics that I think are interesting if they relate to Arizona. So if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Maybe hit the subscribe button. I post a video at least once every single week. So come back again next week, and I hope to see you back here again on my channel.